We started the apartments with 13 million naira. The terraces we are being sold at about 30-something million naira. The villas around 60-something million naira.
How did you finance that project?
Most of the time I use people's money, meaning my clients' money. This is it's a lot of money for $160 million. So you don't go and get the 160 boom and bring it in. No businessman does that.
At 34-year-old and you had this 1.4 million massive contract, you're like, small left, it has changed now.
Yes. So I started importing building materials. And then the tourism business, I used to own a hotel. I tell these young people all the time, my failures are more than my successes. But people think that you hit once and then you'll get it.
Meet Mr. Mustapha Njie, a man who has done countless developments in Gambia and then decided to expand.
I've been to Mali, I've been to Senegal, different countries, Togo, I've been to Mozambique.
In 2012, his company Tough Africa Global signed a public-private partnership with the River State government in Nigeria. He built the biggest estate in Port Harcourt. Fast forward 12 years later, today he's embarking on an even more ambitious mission, which is to build 20,000 affordable homes. He's set to transform the housing landscape in Port Harcourt once again.
So you're trying to tell me, so it's easier to do it in Nigeria than in Gambia?
Oh yeah. It's Nigerians don't differentiate Nigerians from non-Nigerians. So here I feel at home.
He came from a small country, a country like Gambia with a population of 2.8 million, and now he's here in Nigeria with a population of 200 million plus, doing this thing right here. And I go, Uncle Taf here. You have correct.
TAF had made me somebody. Had made my company something.
We will do more for TAF. TAF will do more in Jesus' name.
If you look around the environment, you notice the moment TAF goes to a place, development comes in.
You see, people are now starting developing so many estates around us. If you go to Gambia, it's the same thing. Sierra Leone, it's the same thing. There was not a single building here. Not one single, nobody is saying now. This was all bush.
If you're thinking real estate in Gambia, the first name that comes, it's TAF. So it's such an honor to have TAF here. So I'd like you to take us through even before the business, who was Mustapha Njie?
Born in Banjul, in Hafdai, which is the original of Banjul. At high school, I was extremely good at carpentry, which is my background really in getting into construction. My first work was to teach at Gambia High School, teaching woodwork, because I had good O-levels, when I did O-levels in woodwork. And then later I joined Lamin Technical Center as a junior instructor. And then I found a job at Balfour Beatty, which is an international construction firm. So this thing about, again, we need to relate this to the young ones, where they live school and say, oh, this is what I want to be, and that's the way, I want to be like Uncle Taf. I just wanted to make a living. I never at a young age said that, look, I want to run my own business. And that is very visible now. But those days, no. You just wanted to be a regular worker and be employed and paid. And if you go back now and bring those two together, the time at our generation and now, I would advise that you should pick up a job and do your apprenticeship. Be employed, and whilst you are employed, make those mistakes, learn in it. I did my apprenticeship for 15 years before I started my own business. Because there will be a natural flow. I mean, if you are employed and you're doing well, naturally you'll get to a point where you realize that, yes, now you can take the bull by the horn and run your business.
So at what point did you say, you know what, I've been so good at this, I've been doing this, I've learned this trade for over 15 years, now I should start my own?
Before I even set up Tough Construction, I used to do private jobs while I was working for others. And that I negotiated with my employer. As I was doing my private jobs, I delivered some jobs very well. So people know who I was, and therefore they gave me jobs. Jobs were coming to me.
Let me understand, Tough Construction pretty much started because you were working and you already had contracts and everything. So naturally, the company just happened.
Tough Construction was only building houses, taking some small-time contracts that I could handle. And then I expanded, obviously, because business was coming in. So later I called it Tough Holding Company. Because from construction alone, I saw an opportunity to start selling building materials. So I started importing building materials. So I have Tough Building Materials. And then I started buying plant, and people wanted to hire my plant. So that was Tough Plant Hire. And then I went into now also doing in the tourism business. I used to own a hotel that we built and ran. So then I called the whole business, all 4 sections, I call it Tough Holding Company. So my business was registered in 1990, but it was only in 2008 that I started really having a good corporate structure.
What was your first big project that when you got it, you was like, wow?
Yeah, big was relative, but you know, one that really had an impact was in 1995, after the coup d'etat by Yahya Jammeh. My biggest project in the Jawara regime was $1.4 million. And that was to build the Women's Bureau on Marina Parade. It's still standing there. When the Jammeh regime came after the coup d'etat, they got some money from Taiwan and wanted to build some schools. I was given to build SL High School. And that was $6 million. So from 1.4, the biggest, it went to $6 million. And the nice thing about that project, you know, when they came in as soldiers, they wanted to make a difference. We were called in, you know, and then they just signed a check, you know, boom, and said, that's your advance payment.
Yeah, get it done.
Yeah. So I went back and I photocopied it and enlarged the check, just to look at it, and this is real. To A4 size, and look, yes, I've been paid $1.4 million.
At 34-year-old, and you had this 1.4 million massive contract, you're like, small left, it has changed now.
Yes. But one thing I've learned, you know, in business, I diversify very quickly. Anytime I see an opportunity, because you know, in business, people are always running after you if you're an innovator. Whatever you are doing, there are people who are sitting on the sidelines saying, oh yeah, if Ghana did it and it's right, I'm going to do it now. So, but as a good businessman, as a good entrepreneur, you should always be thinking miles ahead of your competitor. And that's what we are good at. And that's why we are sitting here today in this foreign land.
Since 1990, Tufts Company has spearheaded countless developments in the Gambia, building hospitals, schools, government offices, hotels, and estates. In fact, his company pioneered the country's first private mass housing project. But you know, at some point, he felt it wasn't enough. And then he said to himself,
I'm feeling like a big fish in a small pond. I need to go.
My first branching out was to Mali. I've been to Mali, I've been to Senegal, you know, different countries, Togo. I've been to Mozambique.
For most of the countries he tried to establish, he faced numerous challenges, making little to no progress at all, except for two countries, which is Nigeria and Sierra Leone.
I tell these young people all the time, my failures are more than my successes. But people think that you hit once and then you'll get it.
His first major breakthrough outside the Gambia came in 2012 when he arrived in Nigeria. In Nigeria, he did the unimaginable. This place you're seeing right here, this place was a swamp. He transformed it to a thriving community that improved countless lives.
If anybody in Rivers State knows the history of Gulf Estate, you will understand that place is a den where kidnappers stay. But him, a foreigner with bold mind and confidence, came, filled the place, developed it. He understands the vision and the trend of real estate development.
Well done, huh?
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Great. I hope you are beating him on the game, huh?
I gave her 10 points.
No,
Ahead.
no, I'm sure she's beating you now.
Ahead.
As you see me, I am a tenant. I only have a property here, and when I come, I stay here, but I'm like everybody else. So I develop and move on. When we build things like this, we don't manage it. We transfer the responsibility to the owners, and then they have, you know, an administration unit that manages it.
What legacy do you hope or wish to leave behind?
There's quite a number of people who came through, you know, my business, and today, you know, they've built families, you know, and they've built wealth at different levels. So I want to be remembered for the lives that I have touched. You know, people who never had hope, and I brought hope to their lives.
I've been with TAF since 2011 from Gulf Estate. In 2018, I traveled to Gambia. Most of the estate there was under my work. Yeah. All the electrical, the Dalaba, Brewfoot, all the estates. TAF had made me somebody. It had made my company something. And that's how we are trained.
But you are convinced?
And today the world is convinced. Yeah, I will tell you one major advantage I have now. I have the confidence to do business anywhere in Africa and anywhere in the world because of what Mustapha has taught us.
This couple, Bright and Jennifer, began their journey as interns at TAF, where they met and eventually got married. Today, they have their own real estate company along with a laundry business and a fashion house. You know, when they shared their story and I saw the joy and pride on Uncle Taf's face, in return, that made me proud and happy too, not only as a Gambian, but also as an African.
It's a long chain of transformation. Sometimes we even just joyfully discuss, I need to buy Uncle Taf cow. The value of lands around this area was barely 4 million naira. Then it rose to 5, it rose to 10. Currently, to buy land outside of Gulf Estate, not within this Gulf Estate, is almost 17 million naira.
I asked myself, how was it done? I was crazy to do this. How could I have been here? But the answer is just, it's divinity. That there's somebody in control, and there's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty. Whatever He says will happen, will happen. How it's done, even you, the person, you will not know it.
So Nigeria, how did you get here?
It started with, Alpha Barry, Mr. Barry, just flying on a plane with somebody, a Nigerian guy, who was interested in this, but, he worked in the presidency. So, and he was interested in mass housing. So Alpha told him that, yes, I have a friend, a Gambian, who's good in this. So anyway, long story short, I was introduced. The guy came to Gambia for due diligence to see how good I was in this, and agreed that yes, this guy can do it. And that's how it started. So I was introduced to the governor here, and then we're here now. We started the apartments with 13 million naira. The terraces were being sold at about 30-something million naira. The villas around 60-something million naira.
But that was like then.
Then, yeah.
How did you finance that project?
People always ask me about financing. For me, most of the time I use people's money, meaning my clients' money.
How do you do that?
I build a brand first. Because if you want to come into any business, work on your brand. So people will know that, look, you will deliver, you will not run away with their money. A good example is Dubai. That's how Dubai is built. If you want to buy a property in Dubai, you hardly find a property that is built already that you pay for. You buy off plan. So meaning they will draw all the plans, do all the pre-construction work, marketing, suite and everything, and then make offers that, look, we are launching this project today. Instead of paying 5%, you can pay now a pre-launch of 2.5%. And they will tell you, well, the project will take 2 years, 3 years to build. And then you will be paying as they build. So if you take all that amount of money and you invest it straight into the project, then we'll finance the money. And that's what we do. When we come later about Greater Taf City, there's no single financing that we've brought in here. We first invest our money for the pre-construction, because there and then you need to do something. So we put in money, but this is it's a lot of money. For example, value of the building completed at the time was $160 million. So you don't go and get the 160, boom, and bring it in. No businessman does that.
But on the point where you said that you have the plan and then you sell off plan, you put in that money, what if it doesn't sell?
It will sell, because
we
do a study. No, there's nothing like in life and in proper business. Knowledge is key. So whatever you're doing, you need to know. It's like saying, okay, this thing that I'm doing now on YouTube, how about if it doesn't work? You know it will work.
Sometimes I'm not sure whether it will work. So it might work.
Yeah, but it has grown now. Your page has grown from 0 to 93,000. So it has worked. There's a reason why it's there. Not everybody can take it there. So you must have knowledge on it. So Mustapha and Njie today at 68, doing all these things there didn't happen overnight. It's 50 years of working, man. It's twice your age.
Twice my age. I was having this conversation with your finance guy.
Yeah.
We were talking and he was telling me about your country. Where do you like? I'm like, I like Lagos.
Yeah.
He said, you Gambians, when they come here, they hurry to leave.
Yeah.
But it's only you and Oga, that's you, that I see that you say you like Nigeria.
Yeah.
Why do you like Nigeria?
Yeah. So my first example, when I came in, I flew in. The immigration officer had a music set and was blasting music. And Nigerian music. The vibes are there. You won't underestimate this thing, but you just tell me the type of people you have. So despite all the economic sufferings, the Nigerians will always be there. There's always hope. And that's what the world is all about. Something that is very positive is Nigerians don't identify or they don't differentiate Nigerians from non-Nigerians. As long as you can perform, they embrace you. So here I feel at home.
Okay. So, but what are some of the challenges that you encountered here as a businessman?
In this part of the country is security. You have to be very, very, very aware of your security. Other than that, honestly, I haven't had any major challenges. I go through worse challenges elsewhere than here.
Elsewhere. By elsewhere, you mean where?
Well, back home, we go
You
through
mean
major
Gambia?
challenges, man. It's tough.
So
You know?
you're trying to tell me, so it's easier to do it in Nigeria than in Gambia?
Oh, yeah. But it happens not only with me. It happens all the time. And probably if you speak to some Nigerians, they'll say, oh, no, I perform better outside than here.
When the community and government saw the impact he made years ago, they want him to do it again, but on a much larger scale. This time, instead of 40 hectares and 1,000 homes like the Rift Tuf Golf Estate, the Greater Tuf City spans 1,000 hectares with 20,000 homes. I really can't wait to see how this place transforms in the years to come.
I don't have one single Gambian who's working here at top management. They are all Nigerians. But the reason why it happened is because you entrust responsibility to people. And once they get properly remunerated, it is very likely they will do what is right. And that is one thing you need to understand in leadership. We always try to put yourself in your subordinate's position, understanding where they are coming from. And you know, you are older than them, probably yes, you are much wealthier than them, you employ them, but you're not better than them. Dam is one of the 400 Gambians and Senegalese that I took over land to bring them here when we were starting the project. And some have stayed, some even got married here, and now they've built up families.
I worked for the company maybe 16 years before I come here for Gambia. All the products in my hand, they're inside.
And now you have the Nigerian accent.
Exactly.
You see, Mr. Njie is a true Pan-African businessman. The Rift Tuf estate was designed by South Africans, engineered by Nigerians, with water reticulation handled by Senegalese and electrical work completed by Gambians. Even the smart city he's building in the Gambia, Nigerians are part of that workforce. And the one in Sierra Leone, Gambians are there contributing to the massive development. That vision of free movement and collaboration across Africa, something we've always talked about, Mr. Njie is actually bringing it to life. And that to me is truly inspiring.
As I went around West Africa, now I don't see only Gambia, I see the whole continent, right?
Yeah.
But then just these few days that I spent with you, it kind of solidified that thing more in my head. What advice do you have for the young African man?
Whatever you are doing, be yourself. I've always been myself. I've never had a complex on what I do. And that was why 18-year-old Mustapha Njie graduated from high school at the time and chose to do woodwork. Never had a complex on who you are. Some people have a complex of their color. Some people have a complex of their education. Some people have a complex of their family. An inferiority complex. I don't have that. That doesn't exist in my vocabulary. Me, if the most intelligent, top, whatever, Donald Trump came in front of me, I deal with him man to man. And then the next thing is, think big. Never think small. Make Africa your home. Never sit in one country, you know, with the borders there that where you're operating. Take your time, master your art. Whatever you're doing, be a star of it. Be a master of it. So that you can compete at the global level. If your vision doesn't scare you, then it's not big enough.
It's not big enough, yeah. Like you have this vision of building 1 million homes, right, around Africa. Do you think you'll see that through? Yeah, 68.
God knows, yeah. God, look, a good visionary doesn't see the end of his vision. You know, if you're thinking long term, and who knows, the world is very turbulent. Look at all the plans, people who plan, who knew that in 2020 the whole world will come to a stop. Recently, you saw the amount of money that is going under the rocks with fire in California. I understand it's about $110 billion. So again, there's somebody in control. I take life as it comes. I plan things. Who am I to say that I will live long to see it? And it is possible. There are people who live to 100 years. I mean, I take care of my health, you know, and I would live to see 100 years. I promised my grandson that I want to be his best man when he gets married. Oh, yeah. And he's 12. About 15 years ago, I transferred all the shares of my company to my daughters. So I don't even own one single share in this business. So I've worked on that tradition long time ago, and they're involved. So God forbid if something happens to me, that's their problem, no longer my problem.
No, you're out of it.
I'm out of it. Hello and welcome again to another Monday Motivation. You know, somebody who's very passionate about real estate and what we've tried to do.
Beyond real estate and construction, Mr. Njie has a deep passion for content creation with a massive following across his social media platforms. He uses his voice to inspire the youth while strategically showcasing and marketing his projects.
I see you on TikTok, I see you on Facebook. I'm like, if this man is richer than all of us here, and he has all these projects, he's on social media, aggressively marketing his thing. Why are you sitting down like me? I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep it low key. I don't want all this noise.
But well, the problem is, look at Elon Musk. Is he not the richest man in the world?
He is.
Why did he spend that money on Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah.
Don't underestimate social media. I will tell you with facts. Over 90% of my sales in Gambia is done through my account. Look, I see the results. They said it. It started from him. Knowledge is key.
I mean, already Gambia, you know, people are saying, Uncle Taf Negami, then Tuti, then Ni, you know. And then we saw the comment, people said, your house looks like police station and all those things.
Chicken houses. I hear all of them.
Yeah. So some of the comments, do they bother you?
But they don't. Actually, I laugh about them because I know there's nothing wrong in giving a different opinion. When somebody is very sarcastic, you just laugh about it and you move on. I mean, like this comment that somebody, these your houses look like police station. But the fact is that there are 600 people who have bought it over 1 year.
So, and I want to ask this question, right? I mean, you say a lot about affordable homes. Can you explain that to me? I want to understand that.
For me, as an expert in housing, because I have gained to be called an expert, because I have won so many accolades on housing. The latest was the African Union Housing Finance. We won the most innovative PPP project in housing, affordable housing. And then in December, here in Nigeria, we won the leading company in affordable housing. So we have earned it. So I can speak about it, and we've made it happen. I first divide housing into 3 segments. One is social housing. Social housing are the ones that will address, for example, lower end of public servants. And that type of housing must be led by the government and seriously subsidized. The other sector, the other segment that I operate is, we call it affordable housing. Wherever the word affordable comes in, it's very relative. You, Ghana, there are some restaurants that you will not go there. Because there are some restaurants, some guys, if they go there to pay to eat, it will cost them maybe $100 or $200 just for a dinner. But to them, it's affordable. But it's not affordable to you or to somebody else. But on average, we put a price tag on our affordable housing. And it is anywhere, like in Nigeria, based on also the country. So we're selling a house here, a finished house, we can sell for about $40,000. Finished 3-bedroom house. The same house that we try to sell in Gambia or in Sierra Leone, it is costing us about almost $80,000. But you know why? In Nigeria, one to start with, the VAT, value-added tax in Nigeria, is 5% or 7.5% now. In Sierra Leone and Gambia, value-added tax is 15%. And that is on every input that you have in the building. The input generally dictates the price. Now, the other segment is luxury or whatever anybody can afford. So those are the 3 segments. An affordable house is really, for me, for this category of people that I target, the middle class and upper middle class. So the civil servant who is a 3rd grade or a 4th grade or a police officer or an army, we cannot build houses for them because this is a private business that just buys in the market. I buy cement, stones, everything, that windows, doors. Whatever the cost is, I have to put a margin on it.
Yeah, of course, you are in business.
Yeah.
It's not
so by the time you
housing.
put the margin and they make profit, everything, it becomes unaffordable to them. But it's not my fault. That's what they earn. Their earnings cannot afford them to buy that house.
But other people can afford
it.
So it's affordable.
It's affordable.
Okay. What's one project that you've dreamt of but haven't yet, pursued?
Honestly, it's where Gambia should be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where Gambia should be.
Where Gambia should be. I think Gambia has a big potentials. Small country, 2.8 million. Gambia should be a Dubai. Gambia should be better than Rwanda. Because Gambia is on the coast in terms of proximity to Europe and America, nicely positioned. I would love to see the narratives in Gambia change in terms of creating employment for the young ones. Because we have a growing population in our countries, and we know that they are not skilled. So if I had my way, I will drastically change so that quite a number of those kids at that age will start working on skill. You pick the top, the very top, not more than 10% to continue into academia and studies and getting a degree and so on. But 90% of them, just drop them into picking up skills, apprenticeship. I mean, from my experience, those kids there, If you give them some intensive training on the job, 6 years, there'll be mastercraft. And then Gambia can start exporting them because there's a demand. Like for example, in the Arab world, when they built the stadiums and everything in Qatar, they imported labor. So there will be a master art, master tiler, master plumber, master electrician. They will be employed, and what do? They earn good money in hard currency, and that will now be pumped back into our economy. We need to concentrate and change our school curriculum. I have been advocating for this for a long time. Most of the time, you have all these so-called experts who will come to you from the donor community and tell you that's the way you should run your life. That should stop. We need to be bold enough to say, no, this is not going to work for us. That's the way we want to go.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope Mr. Njie's story has inspired you to see the whole continent as your home, not just the country you were born in. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. Peace out and see you on the next one.